I wouldn't hire him if I were you. He steals. My father said it right in front of me. Not on a call. Not behind my back. Directly. Calmly. Like he was stating a simple fact. The hiring manager froze for a second, then slowly turned toward me. Is that true? He asked. I met his eyes. No anger. No panic. Just a strange, quiet clarity. No, I said. One word. That was all. But the problem with truth is, if no one believes it, it sounds weak. And a lie, when spoken with confidence, sounds like authority. My father gave a small shrug. He's smart. He knows how to lie. That was it. The interview ended right there. For 8 months, my life had been following the same pattern. Apply, hope, interview, silence, or rejection. Different companies, different faces, same result. I kept thinking, maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I lacked something. Today, I finally understood. I was never the problem. My name was, and my father had made sure of that. When I got home, he was sitting on the couch, watching TV. Did you get the job? He asked casually, like he hadn't just destroyed my chances an hour ago. I stood there for a moment, looking at him. What was I supposed to say? That the one person I expected support from was the reason I kept failing? No, I said. He nodded, almost satisfied. Try harder, he replied. And for the first time, I didn't feel anger. I felt something else. Clarity. Sometimes people don't try to bring you down because you're weak. They do it because they know if you rise, they lose their place. I went to my room and closed the door. And for the first time, I stopped lying to myself. I opened my email. Rejections, missed calls, follow-ups that went nowhere. Each one used to feel random. Now they didn't. There was a pattern, and it wasn't invisible anymore. It was intentional. Then something else came back to me. My grandmother, 15 years ago, when I was just a kid, she gave me a sealed envelope. I didn't understand it back then. She just said, "Open this when you feel like the whole world has turned against you." I used to laugh about it. Today, it didn't feel like a joke. I pulled out an old storage box from under my bed. Dust rose into the air. Old school papers. Random things I hadn't touched in years. And then I found it. A brown envelope. Still sealed. Untouched for 15 years. I picked it up and just stared at it. Was this just coincidence? Or did she know something I didn't? From downstairs, I could hear the TV. My father laughing, relaxed, carefree, like he had already won. I tightened my grip on the envelope, but I didn't open it. Not yet. This time. I wasn't going to react. I was going to understand. Then move. Silently. The next morning, I left the house without saying a word. No confrontation. No explanation. No drama. Just a decision. If the world wanted to believe I was a thief, fine. I wouldn't prove them wrong. I would outgrow their judgment. They thought they had already decided who I was. They had no idea I was about to find out who I really am. Months passed, and I stopped chasing approval. I took whatever work I could find. Small jobs, quiet projects. Nights turned into long, silent hours of learning. No one clapped. No one noticed. That was the point. I built skills nobody had seen in me, saved money nobody knew I had, and slowly I became someone my past couldn't recognize. Meanwhile, news from home reached me without effort. Arguments, financial trouble, reputation slipping. The same voice that once called me a thief was now struggling to be believed. I didn't react. I didn't return. Because this was never about proving them wrong. It was about becoming undeniable. One evening, I finally looked at the envelope again. Still sealed. still waiting. I smiled slightly. They were still telling my story their way. I was quietly writing a completely different ending. Years later, a call came from a former employer. My father, he said you might be able to help. Can we meet? I agreed, calmly. No anger, no drama. At the meeting, the truth revealed itself naturally. Numbers, contracts, opportunities, they all pointed to me. I had built what they thought I could never achieve. They stared, realizing who I had become. My father's words, once sharp, now felt small and meaningless. I didn't know. He started. I held up a hand. Save it. There's nothing to explain. No insults, no lectures, just presence, authority. I had moved beyond needing their approval. I offered guidance, not dependence, and drew boundaries clearly. As I walked out, I left silence in my wake. The envelope from my grandmother remained unopened for the memory, not for proof. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. They didn't know I was simply busy becoming strong. After that meeting, life shifted in ways they couldn't imagine. Opportunities kept coming, doors I never even knocked on. My father's warnings and mockery became irrelevant whispers of the past. The envelope from my grandmother, once a symbol of hope, now felt like a talisman I had outgrown, but I kept it anyway, a quiet reminder of patience and foresight. People who doubted me before started noticing. Some apologized awkwardly. Others stayed silent, too proud to speak. I didn't chase validation. I only observed. I realized the truth. Silence isn't weakness. It's preparation. The quiet ones build foundations while others argue and shout. Every insult, every rejection, every doubt had been fuel. And now I stood far beyond the reach of those who tried to define me. They thought destroying me would end my story. They had no idea. I was just beginning my own chapter, on my terms. Years later, I looked back at everything, the rejection, the insults, the lies. My father's accusations had once defined me in the eyes of the world. Employers, friends, even strangers had unknowingly played their part. But all that noise faded while I built something lasting, skills, independence, and quiet confidence. The envelope from my grandmother remained on my shelf. I never opened it. I didn't need to. Its purpose wasn't to give answers. It was to teach patience, foresight, and resilience. I realized then, respect can't be demanded. It arrives quietly, too late for those who mocked you. People who once laughed at me now watch me navigate life with calm authority. I didn't gloat. I didn't retaliate. I only existed in the strength I had quietly earned. They thought calling me a thief could define me. They never understood. Silence was my strategy, and strength was my reply. Silence is not weakness. It is preparation. Every insult, every doubt, every accusation was never a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of theirs. People mistake quiet for incompetence, but the quiet one is often the one building the most. I learned that respect cannot be demanded. It is realized too late by those who mocked you. Patience, foresight, and self-discipline turned every setback into fuel. My grandmother's envelope was never about proving anyone wrong. It was about teaching me to wait, to observe, and to grow while the world underestimated me. The power lies not in confrontation, but in rising silently, steadily, and unshakably. Those who tried to define me now see the truth. I became untouchable, not by anger, but by calm, relentless purpose. Strength isn't loud. It's quiet, consistent, and undeniable.